Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. This is News Check. This particular morning, we are tracking quite a number of issues for you and also having a very important conversation in studio revolving around women and politics, women and leadership, depending on how you want to look at it. So we've talked about so much that touch on what has been termed as some of the challenges that hinder women from thriving in this particular journey to become leaders and also to take up the senior topmost positions of leadership in this particular country. We'll be picking up that conversation in just a bit, but allow me also bring you up to speed with the ongoing exercise to man the examination and the candidates to sit for their national examinations in the country. And this particular morning, the Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, is sending a very stern warning to the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Examination Center managers in Nyanza, who he says have plans to steal examinations. Magoha was speaking in Busia this morning where he witnessed the opening of the third day KCPE exam papers.
Let me warn again for the last time that as we go to the KCSE examination, we are following up quite a number of cheeky center managers together with their collaborators. And I would have this to say that the integrity of the examination shall be protected at any cost. So if you think that you are bold enough, whether you are from Homa Bay or from Migori, or from Isebania, or even from Kisii, my warning to you is that you stop confusing our children. We are not scaring the children, we are protecting them. There are people who are planning to hire university students to go and sit for examinations in certain parts of this country. Let me just say that we are watching you. They think they are very advanced because they may even have interfered with the photographs. But it shall not happen under our guard.
Professor George Magoha there sending a very stern warning against those who are plotting to steal examinations. He was in Busia County this morning just monitoring the ongoing examinations. KCPE candidates are on their last day. They're sitting for their final paper today. And of course, the candidates who are sitting for the Form 4 examinations, the Kenya Certificate of Secondary School examinations will start their exams officially next week. And right here on this particular show, since we began this particular week, we are still going on and wishing all the candidates all the very best as they continue to sit for these examinations that are coming at a time when there's been quite a lot of challenges courtesy of the COVID-19 pandemic. But you will make it either way. All the best to all of you who are preparing or even sitting for these examinations. So in studio, we have been talking about women and leadership, and I think I'll now give you a chance, Gloria, to let it all out.
I think I want to respond to Okango. You know, he quoted the proposed bill.
Yeah.
And he quoted it to emphasize the word shall, meaning that shall then therefore will be mandatory, that a woman, if a man is a governor, the woman must be the deputy. But I want to use the same analogy and quote for him the current constitution, Article 81, that says not more than 2/3 of the members of elective or appointive bodies shall be of the same gender. Yet we're in 2021 with this constitution, and we know that is not the case. We know that the 2/3 gender rule was not implemented. Now, the same people who actually were very instrumental in drafting the 2010 constitution are the same people who are still very instrumental in drafting the amendment, the BBI amendment bill. And yet, even if they say shall or they, you know, what is the confidence that we have that if they were not able to implement the 2/3 gender rule, which still uses the same terminologies of shall, then how sure are we that this thing they are talking about with the deputy and the governor is going to be implemented? And another thing that that supporters of the Building Bridges Initiative do not want to speak to women about is that we are saying with the new proposed bill for the Building Bridges Initiative, they are saying that the cabinet secretaries are going to be picked from the National Assembly. They are saying that that actually if you are now elected as an MP, you stand a chance to be picked then to also double up as a minister of a certain ministry. But yet, that is not where they are sending our women. They are sending the women to the Senate. So now you've taken the women from the women representative where they had the affirmative action fund. You've moved them from there, you've pushed them to the Senate. That is where you're saying you want to empower them. But then you're saying that to become a cabinet secretary, that's coming from the National Assembly, where you're not taking these women, which you're saying is 50-50. So, I mean, at the end of the day, other than that, he also spoke of in the event that I don't win, yeah? In the event that in the very unlikely event,
which is rare,
which is very rare, in the very unlikely event that I actually do not get elected as a member of Parliament for Bobasi constituency, he's saying that now I have a chance to be nominated because according to the draft bill of the Building Bridges Initiative, when they are done with elections and they realize that the two-third gender rule has not been met, then all those positions that, all the numbers that are required to meet the two-third gender rule, they're going to be nominated. Meaning we are going to have up to 600 and something members of parliament. Now, at the end of the day, if you look at the formula that they're going to use for nominations, like he said, in the event that I don't win, the very unlikely event, that whatever votes I get, you know, I'm going to be thrown into this list of all those other women who vied and did not win, and then we are going to be itemized, yeah? So if I, let's say for instance, got 19,000 votes in Bobasi, and the winner got 19,500 votes, right? And then you go to Kiambu County, no, forget Kiambu, let's say Wajir. Wajir, maybe the winner there, maybe, you know, the loser lost with 50 votes. Do you know the lady in Wajir actually doesn't stand a chance against me because now we are taking the numbers. So if I lost with 19,000 votes, because my population in Kisii is high, and the lady in Wajir or Garissa or, you know, the Asal regions where the population is low, lost with even 5 votes, she does not get to be nominated before me. You understand? So we are still marginalizing women.
I don't know whether
so at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, and my message in terms of the women empowerment and how they have approached the gender issue with the Building Bridges Initiative, is it's not really well thought of. In terms of affirmative action, as I said, has to come with dignity, has to come with respect, and issues of population, this one man, one vote, one whatever, is not going to be the ideal structure to use when you're trying to empower women.
I don't know whether you know, Fred, do we have a lot of grey areas in this proposal?
Not at all. You know, we are politicians, and Gloria, as a politician, Gloria as a politician knows that her wordings are convoluted in a way that would want to make the people of Bobasi to believe that BBI is not the solution. BBI is your solution.
No,
the good thing is, without us not being tempted to make this conversation about BBI,
but I just want us to finish up with this part. As a woman, I understand what we are losing in that.
All right, okay. Allow him to respond and clear the grey areas, because you say they are not there to be black and white.
Because number one, these women are not nominated. They are specially elected. That's why they go and participate in an election. Currently, you can wake up as a party, at the SG of the party, and even nominate your girlfriend who has no idea of what leadership is, and it will pass because it is a nomination from the party. But as proposed in the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, the nomination or the specially elect shall be from the people who have participated in an election.
And
number two, it is not about the entire country. Gloria, I would advise my good friend to get into a party that will secure votes, because it is about the votes delivered, not the number of seats delivered. So when your party secures more votes, then you, as Gloria, in that party shall be nominated, irrespective of what happens in Turkana, Baringo, What irrespective. The Marsabit, they do theirs. The, how do you call it? The Migori will do theirs. So Gloria should not fear because she still has a space.
Okango, if I can ask you just on that, because you're educating me, if I can ask you on that, because you're saying now that women are now bound to political party politics, and you know very well, because you have already stated it here on the show, that political parties are not necessarily creating a conducive environment.
That's why the BBI is creating that environment.
Now that you're attaching, now he's saying that it's not about the votes I get as a woman if I stand as an independent. It's about the political party that I stand with, and that's how the nominations are actually going to be carried out. So at the end of the day, are you really looking out for the interest of the woman or the interest of the political party?
All right, well said. Allow him to clarify.
Serfine, you know, the issue of gender is a very emotive issue. And that's why you see Gloria is very tough on it, and she'd want the best for herself and the many women out there. And I want the best for our women too, as a leader. And that's why we are saying the problem starts with political parties in their nomination. We have seen secretary generals of political parties in this country who have nominated their 5 girlfriends. One at the county assembly, one at the other, one at the national. I mean, this is abnormality. What the law now proposes is that when you go for an election, you must create an environment from the political party, and the political party shall be incentivized 30% on ensuring that they take care of the SIGs, special interest group, women being one of them and young people. So they'll get that. Number 2, the political parties shall go into an election, and the number of votes they received shall matter. The number of votes they deliver. So the women and men who shall secure nomination, they secure that nomination through a special elect formula, where that means those who participated in the election shall be given priority over those who did not. And that means the political party that sponsored them must have given them an opportunity first. That is tick number 1. Number 2, when in the unlikely event that they don't secure those political seats through an elective formula, then the IEBC shall have received their results. And they look at in Bobasi, Gloria Orwoba leading with 20,000 votes. The next one is with 15,000 or 10,000. They go for Gloria number 1 because Gloria put effort in securing those 20, and that's was
the
given
issue.
Opportunity.
No, but Okango, you've actually, I'm asking you, that is the issue. There are areas where there will be another Gloria who puts equally as much effort, but the population count at that area will not amount to the 20,000. Right. And that's the issue that I'm trying to highlight, that the formula is flawed in a way that it actually marginalizes those women who are already marginalized, because I can put in all the effort, and if my population count in Bobasi constituency, right now we're looking at about 90,000 registered voters, and my population count is high. In another place, you go to, let's say, Garissa, and their population count is not that. You understand? So that woman is going to be disadvantaged, not because of the effort she puts, but because of the population count. And that is a serious issue that, as much as they're trying to push it under the carpet, it is actually going to further marginalize those women who are out there actually trying to break those glass ceilings.
Serfine, the issue is
I don't know whether we are getting it right. I really want us to have a conversation that revolves around a woman having the capability to have a playing ground that is equalized.
That is the thing.
Let's not talk about nomination.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about fixing the problem after it has happened, after we have created it. Let's talk about how to prevent the problem from happening. That's the conversation I want us to have this morning.
The problem we have is we have not given the women of Kenya an equal opportunity to contest in politics, and for that matter, to occupy positions of leadership. So what is happening is we must now start, if it is politics, we must start from the political parties. How do we ensure that women compete fairly in a political party? The first thing we must do, we must ensure that we comply with the statutes that regard political party. Number 1 is our National Executive Committee comprises of women. Number 2, are women given equal opportunity just like men to contest those positions of the national elective position? If they are given, then that's fair. Then how do we ensure that we attract more women? Because we are a very violent country where women are scared of political fights. So number one, you must incentivize political parties that guarantee positions for young people and women. That has been taken care of in the legislative program of BBI. Number three, when these women now proceed, you have given them an opportunity in the party. Because the environment is secure. Now Gloria from UDA is going to compete with Serfine or Jen from Third Alliance Kenya. So what that means, they'll compete on a fair ground, number one. Number two, one of them will win and the others will lose. So if one of them win, fair enough. But in the event that one of them or two of them don't win, we cannot just throw it away that they lost. They have not lost. We must now look at them and say, okay, fine.
All right.
Have we achieved the 2/3 gender principle in the National Assembly? Yes, okay. You try another day. We have not achieved, okay, fine. What do we do with the women that contested and got proportional number of votes, and we cannot just throw them away, and they have got leadership quality because they're suitable and capable? Bring them to the National Assembly. How do you bring them? You bring them based on their coalition or their political party, the number of votes that political party received. So in my view, when you look at marginalized communities like Garissa and the rest, they have got their share proportion of what they'll get. The population there is lower, but you know, they even have higher risks. They even have higher challenges than some of the areas they come from. That challenge is what we are trying to talk about. We must give political parties an opportunity to secure the lives of those women, to ensure that those women who are suitable and capable occupy a position of power, just like they did to Suluhu Hassan of
Ladies, gentlemen, this conversation is actually picking up very fast, and I like how we are moving with it. I just want us to very quickly just follow up on something else that touches on women empowerment. This is in Mombasa County, a Women in HR convention happening at the Sarova White Sands Hotel in Mombasa. Let's just listen into what is happening, and then we come back and pick up our conversation in studio.
Then opened up as an avenue to make even a greater impact. Within our administration, once we got into office in 2017, I was also honored to hold a number of dockets within the county government. I initially held the docket of county transformation, mining, ICT and energy based on my background. And then we reshuffled the executive. I then held the docket of mining at one point and then moved on to public service and administration. And that's where I believe I'm comfortable with all of you now. Because that was talking about ensuring that we have managed the county's staff establishment in the right way. We had to go through a whole process which we managed together with the State Department of Public Service in looking at our organizational structure as a county, looking at the staff establishment. Is it worth, are we filling it with appropriate talent? Are we doing justice to the employees that were working at the county government, giving them the appropriate career progression that was required, and filling the jobs with the right talent, not just unanijua kama majala, which is what we expect from our devolved units. From there, I also dealt a lot with trying to ensure that we have put in the right terms and actually implemented the matters that were very contentious between county governments and doctors in terms of the doctors' collective bargaining agreements. And that gave me an experience truly of what I believe some of you go through, maybe 10%, 20% of what you go through as HR professionals. It is not something that I envy, and I believe that you need a pat on your back every single day for the work that you do. Managing talent is truly a God-given gift, and it is something that we need to be able to push forward, especially when we say that human capital is our gold in the world, in all companies, in all businesses, in all aspects of life. Now, as a politician, I am also a career advisor.
All right. right, so that is happening in Mombasa County, and we are following up on that for you as well. We bring you now to Nairobi County at Uhuru Park this particular morning. PS Karanja Kibicho is flagging off Juakali hospital beds that are set to go and improve in the counties that are going to be distributed across several counties in the country. Let's just follow up on what is happening at Uhuru Park, and then we can come back and pick up our conversation.
The phones went quiet, and the young people became very frustrated. CS, as a ministry responsible for coordination of national government, we picked this when the young men, and I want to really recognize them and acknowledge that these are patriots. Maybe for you, before I address their predicaments, could take this opportunity to actually introduce you to them. The three young people, we have Joseph Muhenja, probably if you could stand, and we clap for him. We have Solomon Gadogo, Gadogo weka umesimama. We have Engineer Warugoro, hapo tumpigie makofi. Gadogo is a guy who is very quick with the keyboard, and he went to the social media and really cried that here I am as a young people, as a young person, I have picked roles, I'm being auctioned, and because of the power of social media, Asante Gadogo, we picked it up and decided that this is a young man who is an innovator, together with his other two colleagues, who should be supported. And CS, because I had no way of reaching them, despite seeing that problem, a friend of mine, Commissioner Wambui Nyoto, probably you could also stand so that people clap for you, approached me and introduced me to these young people. And when they narrated to me their predicament, I decided that our training money in our budget as Ministry of Interior will now go to training these ones. And we made a decision as a ministry that we are going to support these young people to actualize making of the beds. And because they had actually physically gone to banks and picked loans, they had actually bought the inputs. They had bought 2,000 caster wheels, the ones that are rolling these beds. They had bought 500 lifting mechanisms with nowhere to take them. So because Commissioner Wambui Nyoto introduced them to me, I told her, because I don't know these people, you have brought them. You are the one who is going to be in charge of that project. When it fails, you become answerable to me. And there was born an engineer, Wambui Nyoto, who has actually been supervising and facilitating on our behalf this project. In my ministry, we have Bwana Mutiso, probably you could also stand and we clap for him, who has then been the link between this project, the commissioner, and the artisans. We agreed.
All right, they say buy Kenya, build Kenya. That is PS Karanja Kibicho at the flagging off ceremony of 170 Juakali hospital beds that are going to be distributed in 14 counties across the country. The beds make up the first batch of the 500 procured from 3 local artisans. This is as a directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta following the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, of course, just to equip our hospitals across the regions going forward. We will be staying close to that as well, just to update you. We are also receiving news this morning that Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala has been ousted as the deputy minority leader. There is talk and a likelihood that he could be replaced by Kilifi Senator Stewart Madzayo. It's also something that we have just received this morning. We will be giving you more details as we receive them in our newsroom. And of course, we are also tracking day 3 of the KCPE examinations this morning. And right about now, we just want to take you to Kisumu County for a brief update from the Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha.
Including teachers who are planning to do KCSE examinations for candidates in rooms that they have organized elsewhere. And I think this will basically be my last warning shot. If they intend to be bold enough to proceed with this, then you will see that we shall arrest them and throw them into prison until after the exam is completed. We are not going to negotiate with the future of our children. And as I warn these people, I would like the children who are going to take the exams starting Friday to feel extremely free and relaxed without oppression, because they are doing this exam under some of the most difficult circumstances, background of which some of them were out of school for over 7 months. So nobody should come and confuse you. All we need to do is to understand what you are able to offer. Going forward and addressing the examination that is going to start on Friday, let me ask all the center managers, because this is the exam that is usually with issues of cheating. And like I've said, we are watching quite a number of centers. Please, as you go to collect your examinations, what you must do as a center manager is to confirm that you are carrying the right exam and you are carrying the right content in the correct numbers. Don't just go and pick an examination packet like I've seen many of them doing during the primary school exercise, so that you don't go and start saying, oh, this is not there. You should have said that it is not there when you are doing the collection. And with regards to numbers of papers inside, don't waste our time, because we have done everything possible where every object that we are carrying has been weighed to the last page. So don't come and tell us that there are 20 pages missing here. Where you have taken them, get them back from there and make sure the children get their right. I want to thank our ICT colleagues going forward, my brother and friend Joe Mucheru, CSICT, because as we now move forward into the Form 4 examinations, they are going to be absolutely critical in ensuring that as we get the papers, they are marked properly, and that he usually provides us with extremely good ICT interns that are able to help us to deal with the issue. So having wished all the children, first of all, to congratulate the 1.9 who have completed. They have completed well. All the children who are required to sit for exams, who presented themselves, 99.999% sat for their exams. Those who did not sit had good reason. Some of them in the border areas are not traceable, because they could even have gone to Tanzania or Uganda, and they have, we have no jurisdiction there. Those who have health issues that could not do exams have also not been able to do exams. But those who have health issues that were able to do exams have been able to do exams. And all those other candidates who are not registered, because of the rogue nature of some of our leaders, have done exams, as government is going to deal with them. Now, as far as funding of Kenya School of Secondary Education is concerned, I'm very glad to state here that the government has now released 7.5 billion shillings to secondary schools. It is already reflecting in every secondary school. So we wouldn't want to hear a situation where people are saying that the children will not have, that the teachers will not have money to mount practical examinations. We are all aware that the government is doing its best. The president ordered the release of that money 3 weeks ago. We have been able to release 50% of it yesterday. The other 50% shall be released towards the end of April. So as far as money is concerned for the examination process of Kenya's Certificate of Secondary Education, where we had initially given 25%, now I think all teachers are in good stead to continue to mount the exam the manner it should be done. I also want to thank the members of the Fourth Estate for being reasonably fair this time round. Thank you very much for being reasonably fair this time round. You know, you report both sides, and it is good for everybody. We don't fear criticism, but also where the government is doing its best, you should also consider that, and I've seen that in whatever you are reporting. Let me just leave this press conference with one parting shot, that in order for us to mount successfully the next examination, we shall require the participation of everybody. We shall require that we are even extremely more vigilant with regards to COVID-19 protocols that have been given to us by the Ministry of Health. Since we are dealing with fewer schools, we should actually do better. God has been kind because we have not had issues in primary school, which has the larger number. As we move forward, let us hope that even now, as you are surrounding me, you are not obeying any social distancing, which is very worrying. Let us hope that as teachers are clinging together, maybe they love each other too much, they don't want to be around. Make sure that the children remain further apart, because the teachers will be with them for a longer period. As far as the marking of examinations are concerned, do not listen to rumors. The government of the Republic of Kenya has addressed fully the safety of our teachers during the marking process. The marking process shall continue because our teachers are actually the best in the world. They love their work. Should there be an incident that requires some attention because of any iota of negligence, we shall deal with it very swiftly as it comes. So nobody should think that we would want to take our teachers together to go somewhere like sheep or cows to die of COVID. God forbid. Nashetani ashi? Ashindwe. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Just one question on what you said last. There was a suggestion from Kupet, let me be more specific, that you need to...
Okay, so that is the Education Cabinet Secretary there, Professor George Magoha. What he has been doing is to make sure that the examination process is seamless. He has really taken his time to address all the issues that are emanating from this process, warning against any form or any plan, any plot of having malpractice in this examination exercise. Today, the KCPE candidates are sitting for their day 3 of the papers. And of course, this is coming ahead of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations that commence next week on Monday. Of course, we'll be also giving you more details about this as we continue. In studio, we're talking about women and politics, women and leadership. And the big question we are asking is, can women in Kenya ascend to the highest office? We are talking about not just leadership, but the topmost senior positions that influence so much in this country, and that is what we have been discussing this particular morning. I've been having Fred Okango, the Secretary General of Third Way Alliance Party, also a political strategist, and of course Gloria Orwoba, a youth policy analyst. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying on. Before we took those links here and there, we were talking and the conversation became very heated. This gender debate is usually a hot button. And I sort of, you know, we got to a point I wanted us to look at not what needs to be done to fix the problem after women have not been elected in these leadership positions, but how do we go back? Right now is a good time to have this conversation when people have not decided who they are going to vote for. how do we achieve that before it happens? What will it take for us to begin having confidence in women leadership, for us to, when I wake up in the morning on that day of the election, I go there and I vote a woman, not because the Constitution requires me to do so, not because the candidate has nominated the woman as the deputy, but I vote that woman because I believe in what she can deliver. How do we get there? What is it that we need to do to get there?
You know, first of all, in order to vote for a woman, the woman has to vie. Yeah? So maybe that's the first point we need to address. How do we get more women to actually come out and say, I'm going to try my hand at politics and I'm going to run for this and this seat? There's so many obstacles that we as women, now I have to speak on a very personal level. As a woman who has actually stepped out and said, you know, I'm running for Member of Parliament in Bobasi constituency in Kisii, I'll tell you that even just coming out and speaking those words, it took me at least 3 years to be able to say that, because there was a lot of fear of how will it be taken, you know, what are the plans am I going to put, where am I going to get resources, who's going to support me, how do I find my way into the political circles and things like that. So first of all, let's address that issue. Why are women not going to vie? In other areas, it's because it's a taboo. You should not be seen as competing with men. So the moment you actually come out in your community and say, I'd like to vie for a certain seat, the first thing that you're done is you're castigated, you know? You're actually, you know, you become the community sort of banishes you out of the community. So you start asking yourself, will that woman actually risk her family, her entire life to come out just because she's trying to push this gender thing that we are trying to work on? That's the first thing. The second thing is, for those women who have actually broken, you know, those fears, and they've said, now, I don't care whether I'll be castigated. I don't care whether they'll laugh at me. I don't care whether they're going to threaten me with all sorts of things. I'm actually going to go out and vie. Then how does the society support them? How does, you know, we have a lot of organizations that keep saying we are pushing for political inclusion in women. You know, we want women to be in these spaces, but the only thing they keep doing is sensitization of civic sensitization. It's not that women are not sensitized enough to understand that they're leaders. It's just that even if you have sensitized them and they're out here, now I come out, I say I'm vying for Member of Parliament Bobasi constituency. Number one, where am I going to start from? How do I go to these communities to start selling my manifesto? That requires resources. We are talking about basic resources. For instance, my constituency, just to traverse 3 wards, definitely you need a car. Definitely you're going to need, if you're going there, you're going to probably want to sit down with groups of people and, you know, on a cup of tea. Those people are not going to start saying, come, we make for you tea so that you come and tell us the agenda. You have to contribute to that meal or whatever
it's an expensive affair.
So that is an expensive affair. And then at the end of the day, even if you somehow push it through the very end, and now we are talking about 2 weeks into the election, you need to have an agent. You need to have your agents at the polling station. You need to be able to pass the IEBC mandatory, you know, prerequisites. You need to have money, in short. Who is going to give these women money? Because you know very well, very few have been economically empowered to an extent that they can say, you know what, I have a couple of savings here. I'm going to pump into to politics.
Gloria, I'll give you a chance to continue because we're just about to take another break. But very quickly before that, Fred, I also just want you to sort of talk to the crop of women leaders who are coming up, those who've not even gotten the courage to come out and say and declare publicly that they are vying, like Gloria has done. How do they, you know, put themselves together so that when they come out there, it doesn't matter whether you have the resources or the know-how or whatever, you get the goodwill. In this country, we have what we call goodwill. There are very many candidates who did not have the money. They didn't have the money, they didn't have the what, but they had the goodwill. They ended up being elected. How do you put yourselves together?
Serfine and Gloria, one of the things that we must do, and do it intentionally, is to encourage women to occupy positions of leadership, whether it is appointive or elective. Appointive, we can do. Elective, it is challenging. The challenges that we are experiencing in elective positions as far as women are concerned is issues to do with violence. So number one, we must ensure that we stop political violence that discourages women from participating in elective politics. Number two, women must come. And you have asked a good question. How do we ensure that women come out, encourage them? Number one, assuming in 2022 we have over 20,000 contestants in various political seats, and 10 or 15,000 of them are women. Do you know what that means? It means that chances are very high we are going to have more women in elective positions, because those are the positions that they have chosen to vie and we'll elect them. So we must drive the agenda of having women on the ballot through whatever legal means possible, because it is only when they are at the ballot that we can make a decision and elect them or not elect them. Number 4, the women of Kenya.
One thing I want to get clear. We're having this conversation, women to be given a chance to be leaders. You're saying they're not coming out.
Yes, they're not coming
numbers.
out, but because there are reasons. They're actually life-threatening reasons.
Why they're not coming out.
Why they're not coming out.
Let's talk about that when we come back from this particular break, because you're talking about women being leaders. Something coming up from this conversation. Women are not coming out in adequate numbers to vie for these positions. Why? That is what we are going to be answering on the other side of the break. And do join us, continue interacting with us at Serfine _ Achieng at KBC. Channel 1 is our official social media handle.